Said from public officials across the spectrum, farming, one of the backbones of Pennsylvania. Agriculture is a multi-billion-dollar industry, but the CBS 21 Investigates team has learned that preserved farmland in Pennsylvania is not as protected as you might think. Joel D. Smith explains how all it takes is one project and how one family who already lost a 300-year-old farm is now at risk of losing their second.
An all-American family trying to live the American dream.
So I'm the 12th generation farmer.
Their farm even home to the most American symbol.
You're probably sitting within 300 yards of an eagle's nest.
But the Darlington family is worried about the future of their farm again.
I feel my American dream has been taken from me now twice. Wiped out, the American dream.
Bonnie Darlington, her son, and their family have been farming Pennsylvania land for literally centuries.
My husband's family bought land over in England back in 1682 from William Penn. They came over here that same year on one of William Penn's ships called the Friendship. They landed in Pennsylvania, found their land, cleared the land, built their homes and their business, their farms.
Yes, that William Penn. Bonnie says he gave them the land the Darlingtons tilled, plowed, and harvested in Delaware County for 300 years. That is until the early 1980s, when Middletown Township stepped in.
Decided they were going to take the farm, and they convinced the people there that it would be developed, sold and developed, even though they knew this was not true. And my husband found out when he received the eminent domain notice in the mail.
Bonnie says that led to a timeless American fight against her own government. The family fought for years to be fairly compensated for the land, eventually winning in the PA Supreme Court, but they still lost that land handed down nearly a dozen generations. Bonnie and her husband were able to buy a second farm, this time in Center County, run by Jesse and his sons.
They work here every day, so our operation does everything. We're the ones planting the corn, we're working the ground, we're spraying, we're harvesting. We do all aspects of the farming.
But now his farm is in jeopardy due to the State College Connector, an expressway designed to connect State College with Route 322 in northeastern PA.
So it really makes you think whether you want to pursue putting the farm in farm preservation, because our goal is to keep this farm going for many generations. If they don't have the opportunity to take over this farm, they won't be farmers. You can't afford to start up as a farmer.
More than 650,000 acres of farmland is preserved in Pennsylvania, but it's preserved from eminent domain, that land vulnerable still to utility or infrastructure projects. But sometimes to take the green land, you need the green light from an approval board set up by the Department of Agriculture. But not always. Remember the power lines we told you about in Franklin County? Projects like those, approved by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, are exempted from needing that secondary approval. Project supporters say are for the greater good.
What's the point of preserving all of this farmland if somebody can come and take it the next day?
Yeah, you're good question. Yeah, I don't have the answer to that. I know from my operation, like my parents, we have the next generation that will take this farm over. And I want to make sure I do my part to not put the roadblocks up for their decisions when they take it over.
Farmers have been Pennsylvania's first conservationists, dating back to before there was a federal government, before there was an EPA or DEP at the state level. So we have a real stake in keeping that as an option for the next generation.
The PA Farm Bureau is working to make that possible, teaming with lawmakers on legislation to provide farmers who lose their land to eminent domain more financial compensation. The bill will require the government to take into account the goodwill a farm has earned over the years into that calculation.
The idea that the government can arbitrarily determine the value of private property without factoring in things like this is an insult to our notions of justice.
The bill passed the Pennsylvania Senate unanimously in June, but is yet to receive a vote in the House. So right now, when it comes to fully protecting preserved farmland from eminent domain, no legislation exists.
First of all, I would ask any lawmaker to protect us. We're looked at as land. A lot of people don't realize what we do with that land. We're good stewards of the land.
In Harrisburg, Joel D. Smith, CBS 21 News.
So there could be legislation in the future to protect preserved farmland. York County Senator Kristen Phillips Hill's office tells us that she is meeting with stakeholders, and her office says she has made this a priority over the summer to speak with the farming community.